all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out on this fine night. Antoinette, can I get a roll call?
Mr. Burns?
Here.
Mr. Cook?
Here.
Mr. D'Andriano?
Here.
Mr. Rogan?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here. Can I get a motion on the reports?
Make a motion to accept the reports for the Code Compliance Office for July, the Code Enforcement Office for July, the Dog Control Officer for June and July, and the ECI for April, June, and July. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There are no supervisor reports for this month. Can I get a motion on the minutes?
I'll make a motion that the town board approve the town board meeting minutes of July 12th, 2017, and July 26th, 2017. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Someone like to audit the bills?
I will make the motion that the town board approve abstract number 14, dated July 28th, 2017, in the amount of $230,517.92. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Peter?
Okay, first item on my agenda are several recreation requests. First is a memo from Matt Chabarro, Director of Parks and Recreation. It's about the Community Day that we usually have in September. He'd like to move it this year to October. There are several things. We're always competing with the Blues and Barbecue event that they have at the firehouse. Blues and Barbecue.
Said booze and barbecue.
And also the Putnam County Kids Safety Day that was rescheduled for the rain out that it had in May is rescheduled on the day that they were planning in September. So they're looking to do it October 28th this year. And it actually works out pretty good. They have they're already starting to plan it. What's good is it's close to Halloween. They can maybe do some kind of like a ragamuffin parade or Halloween costumes, make it a fall family festival type atmosphere, and do some other stuff like that. And I'm going to talk in a few minutes about this new program, Cupcake Wars program that they're looking at doing, and they might even have a competition on that day as well, because it'll be ending that day. So it will be October 28th will be the Community Day Fall Family Festival.
Just so everybody knows my opinion on this, in the past, the Community Day is lined up with the Blues Barbecue and the library book sale. And we saw a fairly good synergy with people coming into the hamlet to all three events. I'm willing to, take a chance this year and see how it works out doing it in October. There are some real advantages to doing it in October, but I'd like everybody to, keep that in the back of their mind, because I really think it was, a good thing to have it, have all three events on the same day in the hamlet. Brought a lot of people to one event. They would go over to the other events. And they did that for a couple years. The only time that we had a problem was when Metro North decided to close the railroad tracks. That was a bad year. So just wanted to throw that out there.
All right, the next memo I have from Matt Chabarro, it's actually two things. It's it's talking about new programs and a request for a new hire. So do we need to request new programs, or we're just advising?
I think they're just advising at this point.
So, like I said, one of the new programs they're looking at doing is Cupcake Wars. So it's going to be for children 12 to 16 to focus on baking and decorating cupcakes. And at the end, there'll be a little competition, kind of like on TV. Who has the best cupcakes? I hope maybe we can judge. I'll volunteer the judge there.
I would too. Second that.
They also have they want to do a class, Muffins and More. Another class called Edible Creations, and then they would also like to do, they offer Mom's Night Out Bakery Edition. So it'll be a twist on the sip and paint parties that have become popular. At this night out, creations are born on cookie sheets and not canvas. So it would be an opportunity for mothers to come out and cook and stuff. So with all those programs, Matt is requesting to hire an instructor, Miss Casey Hordern, okay, at the rate of $15 per hour. So I'd like to to move that we approve hiring Casey Ordern at the rate of $15 per hour pending her paperwork and approvals. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next request I have from Matt Chabarro is our T-shirts. So I'd like to make a motion to approve $410.10 to Select Sportswear for shirts. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have a request from Matt Chabarro for a pay increase for the part-time cleaner, Larry Chisa. So we have, we had the cleaning company down there that was there, what, 2 nights a week? Or
2 mornings,
2 mornings a week?
3 hours a day.
Had some issues with them. We were giving them, they were charging $30 per hour, so $35 per hour. We had some issues with them, so we no longer have them. So Matt's asking for a little pay increase for Larry since he'll be doing more of his cleaning duties. I think he does a little bit more than cleaning. I think he does some light maintenance as well. He's, I do have a memo, I'm not going to read the whole thing, where Larry's attended some of the weekend events that they have down at the rec center. There was one incident with the Wine and Chocolate Fest where I think there was a flood or something happened in the locker room, and he helped out to save it. So he's actually helped save some money, just doing some light maintenance and fixing some things down there. So I would like to make a motion to raise Larry's salary to $20 per hour.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Larry's a great employee, there's no doubt about it, and he's been invaluable down there. They're currently asking to increase his salary to $15 to take on some additional duties with the cleaning. I would support that, but I'm not 100% convinced that this is the right direction to go. And, you know, I want to try it out, see how it works before, you know, we make any long-term decisions. 3 months from now, we may be back saying they're not keeping up with the cleaning down there and we have to go hire a cleaning service.
Yeah. Then we wouldn't need Larry's services.
We would let Larry go, or we'd bring him back down to what he's currently making.
Well, no, if we did a contract for cleaning services, I think we would hire somebody to do the work. The problem is that the work wasn't getting properly done there, and they needed Larry, correct? Especially on the weekends?
The work, there was friction between the company and Matt Chabarro. Both individuals felt that it was in everybody's best interest to part ways. Now Matt is going to try to step up, do the cleaning in-house. Larry has extensive experience in this. And so Larry's going to kind of guide their efforts, but they're also going to be using some of the part-time staff down there to do the cleaning.
So why wasn't the recommendation for $15 an hour? Why are we suggesting 20?
And that's what I'm saying. I'm
But
fine with 15.
The discussion that I think Charlie had initiated when we had kicked this out was that we were paying $35 an hour for cleaning contractors that we deemed were not doing an appropriate level of work. We have a guy that was being underpaid that has proven that he can do the work and takes on additional responsibilities above and beyond what he was being asked to do. And so Charlie had said he would be supportive of $20 an hour, and so that's where we kind of got the conversation starting.
I had said either between $17.50 or $20. Would you be happy with $17.50?
Well, $15 an hour is a 20% increase over his current rate of pay. $20 is like a 60-70% increase over his current rate of pay. I'm not begrudging him, but I'm just saying, relatively speaking, a 20% increase for someone is a pretty sweet increase in these times. I wouldn't, if we increase him to 15 and he works out phenomenally well and we want to keep him and want to give him another raise, wouldn't be opposed to that. But
At budget time, we can
Yeah.
budget for it.
Okay.
Okay.
So what's your...
But it also, I mean, it begs, and I know I've raised this issue before, is,
Yeah.
you know, with regards to the company that was charging $35 an hour, they're also cleaning the town hall, and I think I did the math for everybody, and, you know, it was higher than $35 an hour from my perspective for this, and at some point, maybe we want to consider doing
request for proposal for cleaning services just to get a competitive bid to compare it to.
Agreed.
And just remember that the $35 an hour was included 2 people.
No, it's
Getting that.
per person.
Yeah.
So he's
Um,
doing extra work and the work of 2 people? Is that what we're asking him to do?
No,
No, no.
Matt is going to be using Larry as guidance, but also,
$70.
you know, other rec staff to do the cleaning, and hopes that he can keep up with it.
So,
All right, so you
Kevin,
wanna
you were
change your
thinking
motion?
15,
Yeah, $70 an hour.
what do we feel, $15 per hour is fair?
That's what they're
So I like-
asking for, and I would support $15 an hour. I think he's absolutely worth $15 an hour. I think he's worth more, but I'd like to see how this works out, and then if we want to increase it to $20 an hour at budget time, we can, you know, we can factor that in.
I'm
Okay.
fine with that.
All right.
Okay, so I'd like to change my motion to increase Larry Chisa's, for a part-time cleaner to $15 per hour.
Second.
So,
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
okay, next item on my agenda is our Facebook policy. So this came up, we had some issues. We have several Facebook pages, I believe, some unofficial town pages, some, I don't know if they were ever town pages or people just kind of took them upon themselves to create. But an issue came up with the Veterans Park page. The problem was if the page isn't set up right, you know, people can kind of post whatever they want, things can kind of get out of hand, misinformation can get out there, and it's kind of presumed that the town is monitoring it or, saying that some of this information is okay, which really wasn't. We really didn't have anyone looking at it. So I think it's time to look in. I know I got my agenda packet, I just got it today, some different types of policies from other towns and some information from the state on social media policies. So I think we should probably take some time and look some of this over and try to come up with some policies regulating our social media sites and our website policy, our website as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. When I took over, I was very surprised to find that the town had one official web page and 2 unofficial web pages and 2 Facebook pages. And that's always been somewhat of a concern, but, you know, this latest one, where somebody was posting unrestrained, really brought it to light. So, yeah, I did some homework for everybody, gave you some information in your packet. Interestingly enough, probably the best guidance document that I found out there comes from India. So you have that. You also have New York State recommendations on social media. And then I gave you a couple of examples. There are a multitude of examples out there. So, as Pete said, you know, this would start the discussion if everybody can take a look. And, you know, if you want to share any thoughts, get back to me or Pete with any thoughts. And, you know, we'll start putting policy together.
And social media is a great tool. Facebook, all these different social medias are a great tool. It's great to have web pages and put information out to the town. I monitor actually an unofficial. It's not really a town page. It's really just information for the town and community and neighborhood watch type stuff. And I get a lot of information back from residents of problems. You know, we can't be everywhere. We don't see everything. We don't hear anything. I get information from residents about parks, issues in parks and issues around town, and it's good. I bring it to, I usually come to Rich or Russ or, whoever can help me solve the problem. So it is a great tool. It just, if they're monitored properly, you can set up, different things where people can't just post whatever they want. And, sometimes when some of these pages aren't monitored, they kind of go back and forth and get kind of ugly, and there's no one there to take them down or change them or put the proper information out. So
Okay.
that's all I have.
All right. Going back to your motion on the rec center, Larry, did you set the date when the race takes effect?
Next pay period, which is August 13th.
Second.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good.
All right, now we covered that.
That would not be backwards.
Okay, Mr. Cook.
First that we have here is retroactive approval of 2 trips that the seniors had taken. One was to AquaTurf in Connecticut, in the amount of $1,043. And one was to High Point, New Jersey, in the amount of $1,350. So I'll make a motion for the record that the town board approve those amounts of both these trips for the Golden Age seniors. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have letter of interest from Deborah Taylor to serve as an alternate on the Patterson Ethics Committee. So I will make a motion that the town board approve Deborah Taylor as an alternate to the Patterson Ethics Committee with the term ending 12/31/19. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm good.
Good. Okay, for our EMS committee, we are continuing. Charles and I and Denise Montana interviewed a few great candidates recently. From that bunch of interviews, we are asking that the board consider the hiring of Cooper Cardenas as an EMT at the effective rate of $15 an hour after filing the appropriate paperwork with Sue. So I'll make a motion for that, the Patterson EMS, that we hire Mr. Cardenas. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
He's a great candidate. We also have requests for the wastewater treatment repairs. I'm sorry, I skipped over in the agenda. I'll go back one to the road dedication. Theodore Trail, which is the name that was decided on for the subdivision road for the GDC development for Route Fields Lane and I guess Fair Street would be the appropriate. You had mentioned about council.
Yes, this is the third year that they've made inquiries into the road dedication. I know the residents out there are very anxious to see the road dedicated. I just want to put it on everybody's radar because actually it's a policy within our code book says we have to accept that road by August 31st if we're going to accept it this year.
Okay.
I've received the as-built plans there with Ron right now. Craig Baumgartner is the attorney representing them. And I want to get it on everybody's radar because I don't want to see it fall through the cracks again this year.
Okay.
All right.
So I've reached out to Craig. He has not gotten back to me. If your office
We
could
can as well.
also reach out to Craig. And so let's get it on for the next agenda and get all the
Okay.
paperwork squared away.
Great.
Well, back in the day, there was a 23-point punch list that had to be taken care of before we would accept the road.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
Yeah.
so
No,
what happens if that's not,
Russ has been out there, Ron's been out there, I've been, working with the developer over the summer to make sure everything gets coordinated. We are down, I believe, Russ, if you want to chime in here, we are down to just the actual paperwork. We need the title report, we need, the resolution doing the road dedication, we need a letter from the applicant. There's 5 or 6 pieces of paperwork that we still need.
So we have one more town board meeting in August, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And if we were doing it the way we were doing it last year, we'd only have one this month,
We'd be done.
we'd be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we would have been pushing it off. Or approving it with some conditions, which I know we don't want to do.
We don't want to do that.
Okay, and
so
so,
when we get the, excuse me, Sean.
Sure.
When we get the paperwork, then that says that all these punch list items have been completed to the satisfaction of Rush and the
We also,
supervisor.
part of the paperwork that the town board is going to be receiving is a recommendation from town engineer and from the highway superintendent on the road.
Okay.
it's an old subdivision,
It's a very old subject.
going on a long time.
Yep.
Okay, and so the last item I have is relating to some wastewater treatment repairs that are required for the air compressors. We have 2 quotes that Dennis Mays was able to facilitate getting. The lower of this is a specialized set of air compressors, so there aren't a lot of people out there that service this type of equipment. Atlas Copco CTS was the low quote, and that is for a variety of work to be done to those compressors. This is work that requires obviously lockout, tagout procedures, and getting rid of the stored energy within those units and making sure it's done safely and properly. And so we have a quote that would be for $1,196.26 to Atlas Copco to do that work. So I'll move that we authorize that work to be done. So moved.
Second.
The company is Inside Service, Anthony Keebler.
Yes. Anthony Killer, Inside Service Sales Manager for Atlas Copco CTS.
Well,
right?
Atlas Copco is the compressor. Yeah, Atlas Copco
yeah.
CTS.
Okay.
All right.
Inside Services,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
fair enough.
Moving on,
Moving on.
moving on.
Thank you.
All right, first on my agenda, first on my agenda tonight is a proposal for a cell tower on 281 Cornwall Hill Road, which is the site of the recycling center landfill. This stems from a discussion I've been having with Metro North, who is looking to site a cell tower in the area, and we're looking at different locations. This has been chosen as probably an acceptable location to Metro North, though I know there's going to be impacts to some people. Worked with a representative of Verizon to come up with a proposal. The town board has 2 sets of drawings now for 2 different locations at the landfill. Wanted to get some feedback from the board at this point on the plans. They've been provided the plans to take a look at and see how we want to move this forward, if we want to move this forward. The next step in the process would be to do some sort of test, either with a balloon or a crane, to evaluate the visual impact. I've also shared the drawings with at least one resident who's probably going to be impacted by this, who has requested that we consider moving the tower actually closer to Cornwall Hill Road. I was out there today. There is a location, I think we could site this tower right on Cornwall Hill Road, very, very close to Cornwall Hill Road. There certainly would be a little bit more of a visual impact for people traveling on Cornwall Hill Road, but most of the property in that immediate area is industrial, or, we've got 2 landfills out there, so wouldn't be a significant impact. And I don't know there would be any difference in impact to the view shed, from Route 22, Birch Hill Road, and the other environs. So, anybody have any thoughts on the plans?
Well, I think we should have a crane test on both of the sites that we provided the information on. And might as well do the one that you saw today, if that's appropriate.
We're all on the
I
same
think-
site, so if you get a
Yeah.
crane there, it's just a matter of moving it twice,
Mhm.
so it's not
Yeah.
a big deal. Yeah, I agree.
And I think, you can do them all 3 in one day. And I think that we should look real hard at the one that's closest to the road, if it's a lesser impact on the adjoining
Yeah.
street, neighbors in the adjoining streets.
Remember that one of the driving forces behind Rich coming up with some of these alternatives was the original site, and I know one person in particular that I remember speaking to a while back, one of the neighbors. The original site proposed was directly impacting by proximity many houses, and in this case, any one of the 3 sites, there certainly are going to be issues of view shed, but not the proximity issues that we had with the original site being so close to residential housing. So the reason I didn't have much comment on the 2 sites you had emailed us on was that they're both on a site that we control. They don't affect the layout of the site in any great way. So to me, I think, like Charlie said, I'd like to see the balloon test to see if one or the other, affects or mitigates view shed. But from the standpoint of a site layout, to me, they were interchangeable. They don't seem to impact our use of that site, so.
How will we advertise that to the public, as far as if people, adjoining property owners, want to be aware that when the test is done?
We do that on the
Kevin,
website.
are you aware?
Am I gonna put mailboxes or papers in my neighbors' mailboxes?
We can.
No, we could mail it to, what is it, that's a couple of streets and a couple of houses on Cornwall Hill, right? So,
Well, I think that there's going to be several houses on Cornwall Hill to the north and a number of houses to the south that would be impacted.
okay.
So there's probably going to be about 50, 60 people we're going to mail out to.
Okay, good.
So how do we coordinate that? Because obviously we want them to view from their home, right? To see if, so how do we tell them it's going to be a certain time, certain day?
We'll mail them
And then
a letter.
they can provide their feedback to town hall? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. It'll all be in a letter. We'll put a letter together.
And we would do that, also go to the adjoining street, you know, and look
Yeah.
at it from
See
there,
what-
and, yeah, the
yeah.
whole deal.
But I think the
Well-
best information we can get out is that it will be posted on the town, because times always change a little bit. You send something in mail and then a time changes by a few minutes, but we can post accurate information on the town website.
And Facebook.
we can let people know, and Facebook, under your direction. And we can, just maybe, the mailing should just direct people, in addition to whatever anticipated date and time, to check the website for up-to-date information. And then meetings like this that are televised will certainly help get the word out.
We can get it out in time. Any other comments on this?
When are we looking to do it, or about?
I've got to call tomorrow and try to
Okay.
arrange it, see what their schedule is.
Okay.
I still want to get coverage plots in here showing the coverage area to confirm that the height is necessary.
But I want to commend you, Rich, for going after this, because initially the word was, I remember we were all in the room, the word was, well, it's got to go where we want it, and that's it. And we're now looking at alternatives, and that's to your credit.
It's been a long fight. with
So
Metro North.
it shows that, you can't just say no, but you can say, let's look at alternatives. And some common sense alternatives have been proposed, and so I think that, again, thank you for that.
Sure.
Second.
Third.
Bruce, anyone? Okay, moving right along. I've been having discussions with the property owner who adjoins the town hall parcel about the potential for purchasing his property. It's not a done deal. It's just a concept at this point we're looking at, but in any concept, we need to back it up with some good hard data, and specific to knowing what a reasonable price might be for the property. We had previously authorized 2 different appraisals. I was hoping that we could get by with just 2 appraisals if they were very close in price to each other. Of course, that's not the case. So what I'm going to ask the board tonight is to approve a 3rd appraisal on the property for an amount not to exceed $450 by food share appraisal, so that we can get a 3rd appraisal and have a good idea about what the value of that property might be, so then we can start discussions with the property owner if we decide to move forward. With that being said, I have a resolution here that's been prepared by the town attorney that I'd like to introduce into the record and ask that it be entered thus as though read. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Done.
That's a great idea.
And my executive session personnel has to do with some personnel issues for employees who are currently not active with the town. And I'll defer that to the end of the agenda.
All right, I think I'm up.
You're up.
Next, the first item on my agenda are conference requests. We have a request to attend a conference sponsored by NYMER, located at the Bureau of Emergency Services. It has to do with the workplace violence prevention training. So I'll make a motion to approve that conference request. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have a request for the assessor to attend the annual New York Assessment Seminar and Conference, which is being held in Lake Placid. There's been a complete itemization of the expenses. I'll make a motion to approve. Well, let me make it a motion to approve for discussion. I'll approve the conference request for discussion. So moved.
Second.
Is this a required? I believe this is a required training. Not a required
It is
training.
not required training. Well, that's the $64 question. what is and is not required. It is not required for any specific certifications, but listen, I would recommend that it be required for
Okay.
their office, especially with all the applications we have been getting for agricultural assessments.
Well, that's the second one. This
Oh,
one.
which
the,
is this
the
one?
annual.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought we were doing the other.
No.
Okay, sorry.
The only reason I'm asking is because it looks like it says balance, and it looks like balance is
Well-
797, so we'd have to move funds to
We're
cover
going to
it?
have to transfer funds.
Okay.
There's not enough funds because we had sent Donna, training for Donna became available,
Okay.
which we didn't anticipate. What it was is somebody offered to pay for the room, so she got the rooms at no cost, and it's training that she's required to have, so we had sent
Okay.
her that chewed up a lot of the budget.
Okay.
So we are short in that, so we are going to have to move some money around in that account.
All right, with that understanding, I'll make a motion to approve it, unless there's any other discussion about it? Okay, all right, make a motion to approve the submission as read. So moved.
All in favor?
Aye. Last training request is actually a free workshop, which I'm very excited to approve. This is actual agricultural assessment workshop that's being sponsored by the Dutchess County Assessors Association. It's essentially a free workshop. The only cost to us would be some mileage, and we would have to close the appraiser's office until approximately 2 p.m. in the afternoon. It sounds like it'd be a very worthwhile training, so subject to approving that office be closed, I make a motion to approve attendance at the workshop. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And this is the one I was referencing before.
Okay.
We're getting a lot of applications for agricultural assessments as of late.
Okay. Next item is parking lot repairs. I believe we're tabling
We're
that.
tabling that.
Okay. So I'll table the second item, parking lot repairs, and move on to the third item, which is budget transfer requests. I have budget transfer request 27 for record management grant. It is transferring $12,877 of state aid to various lines having to do with planner personal services, equipment capital outlay, contractual, retirement, Social Security, et cetera. So I'll make a motion to approve budget transfer request 27. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Budget transfer request 28 is capital funds for the Carpgate project. It's moving $10,000 from capital projects, $60,000 from the Carpgate to the Carpgate,
To the car.
and $70,000 to special services for the Carpgate. So I'll make a motion to approve budget transfer request 28. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And the last item is there was an error in the last abstract that we approved Carrier and Sons for red clay ordered for the Putnam Lake Park District. The amount requested and approved was $94.50 per ton, not to exceed $945, but they were 0.19 tons over on delivery, so we owe them an additional $15.11. So I'll make a motion to approve what should have been a total sum of $960.11. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And is that an add-on?
Yes.
I guess I'll make a motion to add a request from the code enforcement officer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So I have a request from Bob McCarthy to refund a building permit and certificate of occupancy for compliance fees from Michael Burke. The memo says, I'm requesting the town board act favorably on the request for Solar City to refund the building permit fees associated with Michael Burke's permit to install a roof-mounted PV solar electric system on his dwelling. The total building permit was $225, including the non-refundable application fee of $75 and $50, so the total refunded amount would be $175. So I will make a motion to approve the building department's, the director of code enforcement's request to refund the $175 fee. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And that is all.
Did any town board member have any other business? Public recognition. Anyone wish to be heard on any topic for the board? Going once?
Hi again.
Hi.
So I wanted to come talk about the softball field again.
Yes.
Last time I was here is 2 weeks ago, I believe. All right, so I was here 2 weeks ago when I brought you all the papers and showed you the whole, you two weren't here, but I showed them their whole blow up of the guys saying basically they can do whatever they want whenever they want, which it seems they still can, because on Sunday again, they were all drinking, going crazy, lighting off fireworks. The cops were there, but they didn't do anything about it.
It's amazing.
When you say the cops were there, were they troopers or sheriffs?
Sheriffs.
Sheriffs.
Yeah.
There were sheriffs there. Well, it's just for the record. After the last meeting, I did contact the manager of the teams again and lay out some very specific ground rules for him. I also talked to Pat Ploger, who chairs the Park District, and she concurred with those. And they were both made aware of the situation. We did reach out to the sheriff's office. We did contact them. Sheriff's office informed me they had never been contacted before, but you had said you had called the state police. So,
Yeah.
Last Sunday, I was out there. I was out there mid-afternoon, and then I went out again. I missed the fireworks. I was out there probably about 6 o'clock. There was the sheriff. The teams were at that point exiting the field. They were not unruly. They were not loud or vulgar. There was certainly drinking going on. I saw the drinking going on. And I saw the beer bottles that were all over the field. There was a very young girl out there picking up a lot of beer bottles at the time, throwing them in the garbage. So I didn't see the fireworks, but I was out there. The sheriff was out there. He was over at the church at that point. He was actually kind of blocking the road, and then saw that I was coming down the road. So he says, I guess I'm in the wrong place. And I spun around the circle, went over to the field. You know, I didn't see any problems other than, yes, the guys are still out there. They're still drinking. They shouldn't be drinking. Everybody is aware of my position that this needs to be checked, or, you know, next year we're going to have to make other arrangements. And
I agree with you, but I think we might have to make some arrangements this year too.
Yeah,
Well-
I personally think because that's the way that they have that mentality, and you saw it in their Facebook post. No one's going to stop them. So if you don't stop them now, they're going to turn around and do it again next year.
Understood. The only thing I can tell you is, at this point, we will continue to monitor the situation. If you know, it becomes out of control, you know how to call into the emergency number. You
Yeah,
know,
but
I
what's
did
that-
get it.
what's that
Well, that
gonna-
will get me out there for sure.
Yeah, but at 6 o'clock when they're leaving because the cop car's there.
What time is the games go on?
They start at 10, 9:30,
They go all day.
all day.
Like 10:30 to 6, or?
Usually 10:30 to 7, maybe.
Yeah, depending on the day, I guess. I don't know when exactly they have the game scheduled. I just know they show up at like 8 o'clock, and they used to stay until 8 o'clock until the cops started showing up.
Is this a particular team or is this all the teams?
I think it's across the board, but apparently, you know, somebody's setting off fireworks, and that's usually the teams that play later. So
I think, as much of a concern though, and Pete, I'm going to defer to you as a law enforcement officer, that we have people that are publicly drinking, getting in
Thank
cars,
you.
and driving through our neighborhoods. I would think they'd be doing DWI checks. And
Or
I don't
open
know if
container
that's-
tickets.
Open
Usually
container,
at
Republican tops.
parks,
Yeah.
you have to dump out your open containers, and they take the rest of your alcohol. That's the whole
So
point
I
of not
don't
being able
get
to
that
drink.
part of it.
Yeah.
Because every time a sheriff or state trooper has showed up, it is very obvious that they're drinking. They do absolutely nothing to hide it.
Mm.
And they just talk for 5 seconds and then drive away.
Were they there at our request
Yes.
that day? Okay. And they know the problem and the issues
Yes.
that...
I've called almost every weekend this summer.
Is it an all-day problem, or is
All
it-
day Sunday, every Sunday.
What time does it, I know the game started about 8, but when do the problems start?
games usually start about 10. Drinking usually starts about 10:30.
Yeah, that's true. But the problems when they start getting out of control is when they had enough time to get drunk around 3.
So 3 to 6, 7?
Why don't we
Yeah.
have Lou go by, maybe on a Sunday, code enforcement guy, just take pictures of the beer bottles and everything
Rick,
else.
you already have your supervisor witnessing it.
Yeah,
Oh,
listen, I went
so-
out there. There were beer bottles all over the
They're not shy.
the grass area behind the backstop.
This is going to sound maybe harsh to some, but certainly not to others. I personally would support yanking their permit right now based on what Rich saw, and just saying, you
And-
know
and
what,
the-
I wouldn't even, if they want to request a refund, great, but based on violating the supervisor witnessing violation of the town's policy, I would support yanking their permit, telling them to go find some other field. I don't care about, I think it's an issue for the community.
I agree.
And I'm personally not beholden to a group of guys who want to go do whatever they want to do playing softball. It's our community.
Right.
We're dealing with some issues. It was brought up 2 weeks ago. It was witnessed by you. And
The game's not the problem, it's everything that happens during the
well,
games.
but that's it. And I'm sure with the application process, they probably certainly know that it's not drinking on.
It says it on the league rules for their
Okay.
actual league. You
So
can't
then,
drink.
I mean, Rich, I think we should just take a hard stand and just say we're done with it and tell them, call the people and tell them,
The fireworks.
you're no longer welcome and we're not going to renew your application. We don't make money off this. It's not worth it. It's not promoting activity. All these people probably are not from Patterson, or most of them. And you know what? Just based on these complaints, I would support.
And this year it's gotten
rescinding
worse.
their
Even
permit
during the
and be done
league,
with it.
they'll come to practice, but they'll come with cases of beer.
No, I just think you've certainly made a strong enough case based on the information. Rich has graciously gone out there and witnessed this stuff, and I can't, I just think we're
The
spinning our
fireworks
wheels
all
in this
day
case.
long, or
No, they're
just
here
at
and
the end of the
there.
day, like?
They start around 3-4 o'clock, and then it'll be like every half hour. It was worse. This Sunday wasn't as bad, but it's happened every single Sunday. There's been fireworks for the entire summer. And not like fireworks, oh, pretty lights, like M80s where it just sounds like an explosion and it feels like your heart's dropping.
The big stuff. What do you call it?
They
AVs or
attached one to a fire extinguisher and threw it out of a moving vehicle in front of someone's house.
something?
Well, do you want to take the position of this Sunday, there's beer on the field? This is
I
the
think
last
you already
Sunday?
witnessed it.
Or we're done?
I think we're done. I would make the motion that I will make the motion that for this league that we rescind their permit based on the observations of our supervisor, the reports from the residents, and that they are not welcome back. So moved.
Well, how is you can
Yeah.
you want a second for discussion?
Sure.
Second for discussion. How has it been communicated to the teams? I mean, you talked to Joe, who was the coordinator.
Joe's the manager.
Has
I will
anything gone
contact-
directly to the team saying there's a no tolerance policy, it's one and done?
It's posted out there, it's posted on the league rules.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be any question that they don't know. But, it's always been with a nod and a wink, because since this league has been out there for many years, they've always
Yeah.
been drinking.
But quite honestly, my kids are in softball leagues. They put the ball field behind us at the recycling center. We're pulling the wool over our eyes. If you're honestly going to say
But they're
that there's
not
no
causing
drink,
the kind
there's
of issues
right.
that
Well, that's the
these
problem.
cause.
Is that with the dump field.
Your kids are respectful.
Well, no, with the dump field, when they're drinking back there, there's no one to be bothered by it.
Yeah.
So it's the location of the
Exactly.
softball field which makes it
Yeah.
incompatible. But I mean,
We had a much longer discussion 2 weeks ago at our meeting about this situation. I think we went on for 15, 20 minutes about and I don't mean that in a negative
No,
way.
no, I know,
We
it's
were
fine.
certainly concerned. And the stories that you had relayed to us were unconscionable.
Yeah,
For the kind of way that these gentlemen, and I'll say that loosely, behave. There's nothing that I think that we benefit from having these gentlemen using our fields. It just seems like,
And that's the
And I
difference.
believe what you're saying. I mean, you have no reason to come here and make
I don't
up this
care
kind
enough
of
to
stuff.
make it up. Trust me, I'm exhausted. I want to go home and go to bed. I don't want to be
So
here.
I just think we have a bunch of guys who, are having a little too good of a time and not respecting property owners that live in the area.
Yeah.
She was referring to people throwing fireworks out the windows along the neighborhood streets
And we
a
have
couple of
kids
weeks
that
ago.
play up and down that road
And,
all the time. They even go to the games.
well, it certainly sounds incompatible with any activity that would be taking place at the basketball court.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
And that's the difference. I mean, I understand, having a few drinks, playing some softball, having a couple of beers, it's one thing, but the other behavior that's gone on,
Right,
that's
to
the
disrupt.
issue.
Can you imagine if you went up to a place and you know that people drink when they're doing these activities and they have the signs up and they're so just to throw stuff on the ground and then have a little kid run around picking them up at the end, cleaning up their mess? To me, that is so
Well, when I say
against.
a little kid, it was a
Well,
teenager. It
teenager,
was probably a teenager,
basically.
maybe early 20s.
Most people go and they do what you're saying, Kevin, and they're very smart about it, and they you
Right,
said
it's
you
more
went
discreet.
there, fresh gravel put on the ground around the
Yes.
ballpark, and it was littered with cigarette butts and
Beer caps.
Beer caps.
There was
you witnessed
condoms
that.
once. That
It was actually 2 days,
So
2 or 3
I
days
have
after
no-
the new gravel was put down. I was walking out there with Pat
Yeah.
Boger, and there were bottle caps everywhere, cigarette butts.
And Kevin, I agree with you that you, look, in life, you do things, but if you do things very respectfully, you don't draw attention to yourself, you know, you're not hurting anybody. If you're a jerk about things, then the rules maybe are enforced a little stronger.
Yeah, a few
you know.
years ago, they were drinking.
Um,
Nobody said anything because it wasn't a problem.
So there you go.
But this past year, it's out of control, and God forbid you say something, they attack you on Facebook. They attack your car, depending, they know where you live, which we live right there, so
Yeah.
I can't say anything. I've already had beer bottles thrown at my car. Twice.
So,
How many more games do they have? Do we have any idea? Is it halfway through the season? Is it almost over?
No, I think they're just about done. I think there's only about 3 or 4 games at best. I think they're in the playoffs.
Really?
Even
They
better.
usually play through November until
Yeah.
it starts to get too cold.
yeah.
I don't know if that's games or if that's like
Was that a fall
them
league?
hanging out.
Was there a separate fall league?
I don't think there is, no.
What was the coordinator's response, reaction to you bringing this stuff to his attention?
He said he'd reach out to all the teams and, you know, talk to them. Try to rein it in.
And that was right after last meeting.
Yes,
So, and you've gone out there after last
Sunday.
meeting.
yes.
So obviously, there's,
Nothing changed.
the message hasn't gotten through, they've ignored the message or something.
I don't know, again, when I was out there, there was clearly drinking going on. I didn't witness fireworks, and I didn't witness any ball player out of control, drunk, staggering. At that point, most of them were walking back to their cars, which they parked down by the New Life Christian Church.
But that brings up another point. You're going to allow 45, 50 men to drink all day long and then get in the car? What if they hit someone?
I do not condone.
Not
drinking
you.
and
I'm
driving.
just saying in general, the cops are not stopping these men from drinking, but they all obviously drove there. None of them are walking home.
Any more
So,
discussion?
you know, again, as Kevin said, you know, these types of league, traditionally, they're out there on a Sunday afternoon. They're out there trying to enjoy themselves, and they're bringing beer with them. You know, wherever you go, that's the way the leagues run.
Right.
So at the end of the day, this is not probably an appropriate location for softball leagues. I mean,
Well-
my kid's playing Pauling, there's, you know,
Yeah.
there's the other field over here.
I think that, like anything in life, it's how you go about enjoying your time and whether or not you're impacting other people. And there's an appropriate area for certain things, and you know, you get away with so much more in life if you're respectful and you treat people with dignity. And what it sounds like is that things have been brought to their attention, and it's been a little bit vicious in the way you've described it, in the way they've kind of countered. And you know, I would be hat in hand. I apologize. We'll take care of it. Thank you. We didn't realize we were bothering anyone, and then you wouldn't have been here, quite honestly.
No, I wouldn't have. But they don't
but-
care.
And from what I understand, there's been residents that have approached them and
Oh.
asked them to,
Oh, yeah.
and they were disrespectful to them, so.
So I don't know.
People who've asked them to not be in the road, they basically told them to shove off. They were going to do whatever they wanted.
They were blocking the road, you were saying last
Yeah,
time,
they
with
were
their
playing a
vehicles
game in the
and-
middle of the road, holding beer bottles, playing can jam, in the middle of an active road. People drive down it all the time.
I-
The cop car drove around the game.
Motion
I
on
don't
the
have
floor.
anything else.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, I will call them tomorrow, tell them the league's canceled.
Thank you. Sorry that you've had to deal with this, but thank you for bringing it to our attention. Because if you didn't, so thank you.
Anyone else?
Motion to go in executive session.
I just have one thing.
Yeah, before we do that, go ahead.
So since we were talking about the ball field, we did last Tuesday night, we had a very successful National Night Out, our second annual National Night Out. If you don't know, that it's the first one in Putnam County that it's ever been done. I don't know if we had as many people as we had last year, this year, but it was pretty successful. We had a couple different venues, vendors, and it was got off to a shaky start, but it all came together. I think it was a very successful night. We did learn a lot again, and we're going to meet. And so if anybody that went and enjoyed themselves, if they have any suggestions on what they want to see next year, we want to try to keep keep it to, a lot of vendors reached out to us and wanted to do stuff, but we want to really keep it to safety and security, crime prevention theme. You know, we don't want to just open it up to any vendor.
It's not a community fun, bouncy castle kind of a night. It's
Right.
focusing on communities partnering with their police agencies, Neighborhood Watch, avoiding these kind of issues that you just were talking about. I thank
True.
you, Pete, for all the work you did, and
Yeah.
Pat Ploger. It was a great event.
Absolutely. It's really great that you work with the Park District and put that all together.
And I want to thank the board, the board, the whole board here for supporting, standing with the community, standing with the police. The undersheriff was there. We had state police and sheriff there, all standing together to fight against crime. So that's what it's all about.
Assemblyman Byrne.
Assemblyman Kevin Byrne was there as well,
And Basha.
and Undersheriff
Undersheriff
Basha.
And there was a bouncy house.
And there was a bouncy
And a
house.
magician.
Yes.
I didn't go in it though.
So if anybody has any suggestions for next year, please let us know. We want to change it up, make it a little even better next year. So I'll be retired by next year, so I'll have more time to.
Good. Good.
Be in the bouncy house.
Yes.
Jen and Pat, just so you're aware, I did, Peggy, thank you. I did say hi Peggy when she came in. I reached out, or I didn't, Steve called me today, Steve Winkley. He has not heard back from the Department of State. I sent the Department of Health. I sent them an email asking for an update about what they may be doing in all this.
State health or?
State health, no, state health. He has not gotten back to me. He's not gotten back to Steve, who at this point, without the involvement of the state health department, isn't sure what direction to go in. So he's going to start wrapping up the work that he's been doing for the town. And then I've had some conversations with some people. We were going to try to put a meeting together middle of August and decided that most people are not going to be around. So we're going to hold it off till September. Hopefully maybe the state health department will do something, and then bring all your neighbors in or invite them in and have a conversation about the water quality out there and what they might like to see happen.
After our last watering, did Steve's, I just wanted to ask you, if he scheduled another meeting?
Steve?
Did I miss that?
No, Steve is not.
He didn't, right?
No, there's no meeting scheduled. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.